Okay, what's good, everybody? Episode 8 of Power Slap Road to the Title Season 3 is in the books. Holy shit, dude. Now, this is what I'm talking about. This is what the fans want to see. It's the best episode of the season, and it's not close. There was a little more ass slapping in this episode than I would typically like. But, yeah. Especially considering there's no girls on the show. Remember, this is Power Slap. We're supposed to be slapping dudes in the face, not on the ass. But anyway, yeah. Other than that, it was a phenomenal episode. Great fights. And I'm sure some people that follow my Instagram or follow my YouTube are probably like, man, why does he always post about the lightweights? Now you know. Now you know. I knew this from the beginning. The second I saw the first round, I knew that these fights were just going to keep getting better and better. These kids are just so about that life. It's not even funny. It's funny because every single person on this episode came out a winner. Like, every single person. Even the losers. And, dude, even Kerr, who did about as bad as you can possibly do in his Power Slap debut, even he upped his stock in this episode. I mean, he's got some balls, dude. He was trying to go up against the Chief. The Chief is a legit MMA fighter, man, and he wanted all the smoke. So say what you want about him, but he's definitely got some balls. I mean, there is absolutely no way that getting your head slammed off the floor hurts more than a slap from Stevie Ray. So it's honestly a shame. He proved he had a chin. I just wish he would have let Stevie Ray slap him. But that's besides the point. In this video, I'm going to go over the Riley Montoya versus Dakota McGregor fight. This was an amazing fight. This was such a great fight. I was looking forward to this. And Riley ended up getting the KO loss, but Riley is just about the only person on earth, besides like a Conor McGregor, that can literally lose 2 in a row and have one be a vicious KO and still come out of it looking like a future star. Like, I'm completely sold on this kid. And there's a 0% chance you don't see him again. Honestly, I'd make a bold statement and say that you'll see him like in the next few cards. I'd say like in the next 3 cards. Dana clearly loves him, and rightfully so. And yeah, he fought in the first round against Isaac, lost, but they ended up moving him into the house anyway, which I'm not surprised about, because if you listen to my breakdown of that fight, which I thought he won, by the way, then I was like, you'll definitely see this kid again. And sure enough, a couple hours later, it looks like they moved him into the house. So was glad to see that. And that wasn't a knock on Isaac. That fight was super good, super close. Could have went either way. And that fight was so good that's why Riley got to stay in the house. But I mean, such a tough matchup for him, man. Dakota had a knockout win in the first round against Ivan. And that was one of the best fights of the season, in my opinion. Or at least it was one of my favorites. Such a banger. And a lot of people call Vern's slap against Amir the greatest slap of all time. But I honestly think that there's a new greatest slap of all time. I think it's his first slap against Ivan. I genuinely think that might be the greatest slap of all time. And he probably landed like another one of the top 5 in this one. I mean, this kid, ridiculous power. When he lands clean on you, you're in big trouble. And in my breakdown of that fight, Dakota's fight against Ivan, I was like, who's going to beat this kid? And yeah, my takes are aging very well right now. Your boy's on a roll. But yeah, so this was set up to be a banger, but tough matchup for Riley. Dakota's a monster. And so Riley won the toss, and he was slapping first. And yeah, I must say, the only real weakness Dakota's shown throughout this whole thing is the friggin' coin toss, dude. Can't seem to win a coin toss. But it doesn't matter, because he can take a slap. And so, yeah, on Riley's first slap, it was a good slap, but definitely not the best he can do. The slow motion replay was actually insane. Like, you'll see Dana was trying to see the replay because it literally knocked the drool out of Dakota's mouth. it was a highlight they showed all season. I was a little bit surprised because it didn't turn out to be the most effective slap that he's thrown throughout the competition. So like the fact that that one was the one that they would show over and over was kind of deceptive. But yeah, so on Riley's first lap, I noticed a trend with Riley where like his slaps were coming up just a little bit short. Yeah, his slap it landed like more up on the cheek, and it's like anytime you get away from the sweet spot, which is like right next to your chin on both sides of your face, the further you get away, the less likely you are to knock somebody out in general. Not always, but in general. And one thing that I also noticed was that when Riley was slapping, so Dakota definitely had a different brace on this one. You could tell that he definitely learned something from his last match, and I think it was smart by him. I think it was an improvement because in his fight against Ivan, he got rocked twice, and he was way too loose when he was taking the strike in that first fight. If you've ever seen my video on how to take a slap, there's two ways. You can either brace or you can roll with it. But just having your head loose and doing neither of them is the way that you get bobbleheaded. So, yeah, it was a really good adjustment by Dakota, and I noticed it right away, and it definitely paid off. But yeah, good slap by Riley, not his best. And then on Dakota's first slap, it was a good slap. It was definitely a really good slap, but it was just above the button. So like, but this kid has so much power. Like the slap, it had so much like head wobble on it from how powerful it was, and it didn't land right on the button. The second one landed right on the button, but yeah, he was a little bit above the sweet spot, which again is right next to your chin on both sides of your face, and he knows that. But it was still a really good slap. But dude, Riley ate it. Riley, this kid has so much heart, man. And one thing that is really good about Riley is out of all the lightweights, like I think he has the best stage presence. I mean, he's just so capable of playing that shit off. Like that was a monster shot by Dakota, and it definitely hurt him. But like you'll see that like once he came to, he just kind of like put his hands up, like I don't know, like dude, he's such a salesman. Like it literally, like no matter how bad he was hurt there, you couldn't tell at all once he came to. Like obviously his head was moving around, you could tell that it was a huge slap, and he was probably a little messed up. But like the fact, like go back and watch that when he just puts his hands up, like I don't know. Dude, it was classic. Like that should be Riley. If you're listening, that screenshot that should be your profile pic. That shit was gangster. And then on Riley's second slap, this was a bad slap. So like I said, he was coming up short. This one came up really short. Like it like barely hit his face. Like his fingers were like scraping across the front of his face, fully extended, which is never what you want because it means that you're just not getting any flush, contact with this target area. And also it did kind of look like he stepped there. You have to really wait until like one of the last replays, but definitely looked like some foot movement there. So, but yeah, he's definitely got to clean up the footwork and work on his striking a little bit. I think that's the one thing that's holding him back. But his chin is ridiculous, and you could tell after Riley's second slap when he went back to the corner, and he looked back at Dakota and Turpin, who were screaming like "Let's go," because obviously he just took the slap and now it's his turn. If that's not an oh shit face, then I don't know what is. It's not like he wasn't scared, but you could tell he was like, "Damn, I just wasted that slap." And to be honest, it really was a waste of a slap. And I think he knows that, and I think he probably regrets that. But dude, he took a big shot. And one thing that I was thinking about was, I mean, the turnaround time on this is crazy. Like, did you see Riley's face, man? Like, literally, if you look on when Dakota's about to slap him, he has a black eye, a literal bloodshot eye, a bleeding eyeball, okay, and a massive red welt on the side of his face from the hammer that Dakota hit him with. And like he doesn't even look scared at all, man. He's just so about that life. It's absolutely incredible. I have nothing but the utmost respect for that kid. Straight gangster shit, to be honest with you. But yeah, anyway, wasn't a good slap and probably could have got called for a step there. And then on Dakota's second slap, I mean, dude, out cold. Like the second it hit his face, the second it left his face. So like it hit his face, and then the second his hand like went to the next frame after contact, he was out cold. Absolutely nothing you can do about that if you're Riley. Like, this was an absolutely incredible slap. This is like for anybody that does power slap out there. Like if you're not like a world champion, you should literally be studying like what this kid is doing. It's absolutely the gold standard of slapping, as far as I'm concerned. Like he's had 2 fights, and he probably has 2 of the 5 best slaps of all time in 2 fights. It's absolutely ridiculous the way that he throws these slaps, so clean and so powerful. So yeah, everybody should be paying attention to what this kid is doing, because he is doing something right. I really felt for Riley. I wanted both of them to win. Also, super happy for the kid because we saw him get an apartment with the money he earned on Power Slap. So again, like just the stories of these guys, it's what makes the sport so dope. And both guys came out looking like winners on this. But honestly, and this episode was amazing. There were so many winners that came out of this, but ultimately Power Slap was the real winner. Like, don't get it twisted. The biggest winner that came out of this episode was Power Slap. They built an absolutely stacked lightweight division full of some stars, man, straight up stars. And for Dakota moving forward, like, I think they never said it, but based on the way the match is set up, like, I think that it should be Dakota versus Josh. And that is, dude, that matchup is going to be absolutely crazy. And yeah, can't wait for that. And then, who knows? Maybe Riley and DeFrank could link up for a fight. That would be a banger too. Again, there was no losers on this show this week. There were absolutely no losers. The biggest winner was definitely Power Slap. And yeah, this fight was dope. Enjoyed every second of it, and just cannot wait to watch all of these guys fight again, man. Straight up.